it's Devin, and today I have a Glam Freddy Krueger makeup tutorial. And this is actually the makeup that I'm wearing on Halloween. I am going to a convention called Walker Stalker Con, and Robert Englund is actually going to be there, so I'm hoping that, you know, maybe we can hang out or something. And my take on this Freddy costume and makeup is that I am like a glam Freddy Krueger, or I could be like Freddy Krueger's girlfriend or whatever, however you want to interpret it. And I wanted to be able to look gross and like to represent Freddy Krueger but still be glamorous at the same time and still actually look and feel pretty. This doesn't have to be used for Freddy Krueger. This could be for any type of burn victim. You could use the shape, you could use the technique, or whatever you want from this. I just figured I would go ahead and put it out here because I think it's cool and I think someone out there would benefit from this. I really hope someone out there benefits from this, so if that person is you, please let me know. Also, just a side note, I did this with all makeup that you can actually go to like a Halloween store and get. It's not expensive, it's not anything you have to order. Just wanted to go ahead and put that out there because I know that it's frustrating when you go to watch Halloween tutorials and they have all this stuff that you have to order off the internet, and especially if you're not into special effects or anything like this other than during Halloween, it's kind of a waste of money. So I totally get that. So I decided to use stuff that is super affordable and super accessible. That is all I have to say. Alright, so without further ado, let's just jump right into the tutorial. If you're not interested in seeing how I did my eyes, then either click on the square on the screen or just move forward to 419 if you're on mobile. Alright, so I'm just going to start out by applying my L'Oreal True Match Concealer all over my eye area. I'm going to use this as a primer. The first shadow I'm going to go into is just a light neutral matte brown, and I'm just going to apply this all in the crease with a fluffy brush. This is going to act as a transition shade. And then I'm going to go in with a deeper matte brown and just concentrate that in the outer corner, but also carry it up into the crease just to give a little bit more dimension. I wanted to keep the lid light but also really shimmery, so I'm just reaching for this super glittery sandy shade out of the Naked palette and just packing that all over the lid until it is in a very intense layer. And then to deepen up that outer corner just a little bit more, I'm reaching into a shimmery brown and just packing that right in the outer corner and kind of blending it out just to make sure that it is nice and defined. And then I just took the two matte shades that I used initially and dragged those under the lash line just to make it more cohesive. And now I'm just going to highlight the inner corner using this shimmery off-white shade. Whenever I think of really glamorous makeup, I typically think of really large, thick wings, so that is what I did for this video. If those don't really suit your eyes, just feel free to do whatever shape works for you, but this is kind of just what stands out to me as being like super glamorous. And then I'm just going to grab a coat of mascara. This is my favorite mascara at the moment, and I'm just going to separate and define those lashes and just coat them in a thin layer of black because I am going to use falsies. And then just coat and separate each one of those lower lashes. For my lashes, I am using Koko lashes in Goddess, and I'm applying those using the HOL Lash Eyelash Adhesive, which is my favorite. And I'm just going to pop those right on, and these were really, really easy to apply. This is my first time applying them, but I was really, really impressed. And then I just tightlined as usual. Alright, so the first step in creating the burn wound is going to be to tie your hair back so it doesn't get caught, and then put on the costume that you're intending on wearing and just sketch out the shape that you want. I'm using a NYX Wonder pencil, which is really great for this because it's easy to wipe away in case you do make mistakes. But I'm just going to make sure that I go under the collar of the sweater just to make sure that when I do put on the sweater there aren't any gaps and it doesn't stop beforehand, just to make sure that it looks like it's just continuing down my body. So now I'm just going to combine the magical powers of liquid latex and unrolled cotton balls. So just unroll those, and I used about 1.5 to 2 cotton balls for this whole look. So really you're going to need a lot less cotton than you think. So basically the process of what I'm doing is I'm going to lay down a thin layer of liquid latex, and then I'm going to start applying random pieces of the cotton onto my face, kind of in a random pattern, kind of creating just different shapes, different lines, and just kind of making sure that it looks really varied and really random, because a burn is obviously not going to be cohesive or going to be in a certain pattern. And of course, after you lay the cotton down, you're going to want to saturate it in liquid latex again, just to kind of make sure that it's sealed in place and isn't going to actually look like cotton once it is painted. And I'm just going to continue that down the neck, and this is definitely the most lengthy part of this look. Just basically like applying the cotton and resaturating it and making sure that it looks really random and waiting for it to dry is actually pretty difficult in of itself. This tutorial in total took me about 3 hours to film from start to finish, and a lot of that time was spent doing this process that you see right here. Alright, and now that I'm pretty sure that you guys understand the process of this, I basically just made sure to use a ton of different shapes and tried to make it look super varied. And then after I laid the initial layer down, I just went in a few places and applied a little bit more cotton just to make sure that it looked like super random and like there weren't any open gaps, that I just left like nothing, no texture in. And once all of that liquid latex is completely dried, you can move on to the next step, which is just applying a foundation all over the face. So I'm just going to apply that really quick, and I'm not going to carry this down the neck all the way on the wound because it is going to be painted anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't even really matter if you get it on the liquid latex that's on your face, but I just did it because it was more difficult to not do it. So then I just took a little bit of the highlighting shade out of my Wet n Wild palette and laid that under the eyes, and then I took my shimmering highlighter, because you guys know I can't live without it, and applied that all over the cheekbones as well as the tip of the nose and the cupid's bow. And now it is time to move on to painting the wound. So I'm just using these really cheap cream paints that you can pick up at any Halloween store. And then I just ripped the fat end off of those strange square makeup wedge sponges, and I'm just using that to lay down an initial layer of the brown cream paint. Our main colors are going to be brown and red and a little bit of yellow. And then I remembered that there was something that I wanted to do before I started painting that I forgot, but it doesn't really matter as long as you do it before you get the bulk of the painting done. So I'm actually taking a pencil with the lead inside. Do not stab yourself with lead. So I'm just using this to kind of add more texture and just to create more variety in the wound, but please be careful to make sure that you are not like actually hurting yourself. So then I just went in with a bunch of red, and basically I'm just applying this very patchily, and then I applied some purple as well, and then I'm just going to blend it out with a damp sponge. I later wetted that with actual water instead of setting spray, and then I actually had to go back in with a tiny bit of green because I used too much purple. But yeah, I'm just basically going to coat this entire wound in mostly red and then going in with more brown to deepen it up, and just going to keep doing this back and forth until it looks the way I want it to. And remember to blend it far back enough so that when you're being looked at straight on, you don't have like a random line of flesh in the back that you can see, you know what I mean? And then to kind of fade out the wound, I am taking yellow just along all of the edges, going to kind of blend that out just to make it look a little bit more bruised and like the skin is, you know, just having a really hard time. And now I am using this NYX lipstick. This is just a straight up chocolate brown, and I'm going to use this to kind of deepen up certain parts. This lipstick is a greasy, slimy mess and is a really, honestly, just not a good lipstick. So I decided to repurpose it and use it to deepen up these holes. So I just picked a few spots, a few holes that I created, and other spots to just kind of deepen up, and I also used a little bit of the black and brown cream paint as well. I did moisturize my body before this, and I think it kind of caused a lot of the pigments to not stick to my actual skin, like from the lipstick and the cream paints. So if you're doing this, definitely do not moisturize your skin right before you do it, otherwise you're gonna have the problem that I had, and I had to go back and forth a ton of times to make sure that it was dark enough, and even then it still continued to fade. So now I'm just going in with more of that yellow and using my fingers along with a combination of like just random cream paints, the red and the brown and everything, and just deepening up certain areas. Basically you're just going to do things like this until it looks the way you want it to. And then I just took some fake blood on a stippling brush and just applied that lightly over some of the areas just to kind of make it look a little bit more wet. Now I'm taking a combination of 2 lip pencils to finish off the lips. And I'm first laying down the NYX pencil, which is a little pinker in tone, and then going over it a little bit with the more browny nude. And then I doused my body, wound included, in setting spray just to make sure it would last a little bit longer. As a finishing touch, my ears were sticking out a little bit too much, so I just went on with a little bit of the red cream paint and just dabbed it right on the lobes so they just blended in a little bit easier. And that is it for the makeup. The hat I just got from Old Navy. It was just something I already had in my closet. The sweater is from Hot Topic, which is the best Freddy sweater I have ever found. And the glove is also from Hot Topic, just because that was the cheapest place I found it. And then my necklace is actually a gift from my boyfriend. It came from Robert England's online store. So that is everything, you guys. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. If you like this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. There's a link to do so on the screen, as well as links to all of my social media accounts, and that information is also down below. If there are any other videos, Halloween videos, other videos you want to see, just let me know and I'll get back to ya.